you who don't know me, my name is Dorothy Osanitsch, and I'm honored to be the chairperson of the search committee. Since July of 2019, we've been meeting every Thursday to carry out our assignment of finding the next settled pastor of our church. I'm happy to say that we believe we have found a pastor who exceeds our expectations. And just a quick review on the journey to this day. First, the committee met with our conference minister, Mary Nelson, to review the process of the search. Next, the search committee developed a survey to assess the congregation's vision for both our church and a new pastor. We reviewed the responses and used that information to develop our church profile. Writing the 32-page profile took the longest amount of time, but we felt the result reflected who we are as a church. After council reviewed and approved the profile, it was made available to the congregation. All the comments and suggestions were taken into consideration, and many were used. We also wrote an ad to go into the conference website to let ministers searching for a church know about us. In late December 2020, we started receiving ministerial application profiles and began interviewing in February of 2021. By the end of April, we had received less than 10 profiles. So we met with our new conference minister, Michael Siva, for guidance. We were charged to look outside the box for a candidate when we were installed as your search committee. So with Reverend Siva's help, we searched through the Presbyterian Conference, and then we searched through several seminaries and a progressive Baptist conference as well. Then we received the profile from Reverend Jill Olds, and we knew as soon as we met her that she was someone special. We were also charged with giving the congregation an opportunity to meet and hear the candidates preach before the candidating weekend. With the coming of the COVID pandemic, the opportunities to fulfill our promises became both harder and easier. It became easier as more ministers had expanded an online presence, so the search committee could view several of the applicants' sermons before deciding whether they were interviewed. But it was also harder as we could only meet and interview via Zoom. This is still true as we come to candidating week. We're doing a whole week. While we are fortunate that Reverend Olds is not currently serving in another church, so we were able to release her identity over a month ago. This has given our members the opportunity to view sermons and podcasts, one of which was made available through a link in the Woodmont Weekly. Today you will also be seeing a video that Reverend Jill Olds sent to council, and many of you will be meeting her over Zoom this week in small groups. Next Saturday, we will meet Jill and her family at a picnic here at the church, and on Sunday she will be preaching and sharing communion with us before we meet to vote. And now just one quick note on how we would not be in this position if not for Reverend Kim. He led us through the discernment process. He helped with the profile. His help with the profile was invaluable. He met with us every week for almost 2 years. And he's been patient. He's been here for almost 5.5 years now, or has been 5.5 years, encouraging us when times were not what looked a little dark for us, but we weren't getting profiles, and he was there for us at all times. And we are so blessed to have him and Pat as part of our church family.
Most of what I have, my name is Frank Lyons, and most of what I have written down here is going to be redundant because of what our just said. Anyway, as you know, the search committee was set up to find someone to lead us forward when our settled pastor, the beloved Pastor Kim, leaves us. I use the word settled carefully because of the context or the connotations it has. It has to be made clear that we decided during the process that we weren't going to settle for just any pastor, but someone who will fill our needs in our current situation with an eye towards our needs in the foreseeable future. Our decision was made thinking about who this was all about, which is our congregation, you, and not exclusively based on our feelings about the applicant or applicants. We first went through and established what we were looking for, as explained by Dorothy. And we, as you know, we had a moderate amount of responses and people to interview. There were many potential people that could potentially fill what we were looking for, but little did we know that the decision was basically being taken out of our hands, and we were being led to who the Lord wanted us to have as our leader. Along came the Reverend Jill Olds. From the first interview, we felt that this was the worship leader we were seeking. This opinion was solidified due to the fact that we all felt a surge of enthusiasm and were in full agreement that she was the one. We became even more excited when she informed us, after going through her processes, that yes, she would accept the position of settled pastor. I feel fully that it would make the choice of accepting her with your positive votes. She will fit well into our environment and will evolve and grow with us with Woodmont UCC. Thank you.
All right. So I am really excited about Jill. I mean, you've heard from Dorothy and Frank. I know this is a bit bitter. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. So I know it's going to be a bit bittersweet. I'm sorry, what?
Introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Cyn Stehouwer. Hi. I don't think you guys have met me yet, but hi. Okay. Anyway, so look, I know it's going to be a bit bittersweet, certainly. I mean, we adore and we are blessed by Pastor Kim and Pat, and we were so blessed to have them with us. I just want to talk though, so my first impressions of Jill, just from the heart, she's really authentic, she's really sincere. It's really important to her to be transparent, which she was throughout the process, and I'm looking at my notes here. Just really, I think, built trust very quickly with us. I mean, really quickly. And she's really even-keeled, she's a good listener, she's a team player. That came across very clearly, with really good leadership skills. She also, has a great wealth and breadth of experience. She'll talk about it when you see the video. But I mean, youth ministry, chaplaincy, end-of-life care, children's ministry. So this is fun. So her husband, who is an Episcopal priest, calls her God's utility player. Right, baseball. Okay. So anyway, I will just share, in my heart, I believe she's the right person for our journey forward. Thank you.
No, I just want to say Rob is going to help set up the video so we can all watch the video.
That's true.
Hello, folks. My name is Reverend Jill Olds, and I'm sorry that I'm not with you in person to do this, but when I was asked to provide an introductory video, I was more than delighted to be able to introduce myself to you, even in my absence. So my name is Jill. I am an ordained UCC minister. My background is sort of a mixture of different things. I was raised in Ridgefield, Connecticut, so not too far from Milford. I felt a call to ministry at a pretty young age, and it was very much rooted in my local UCC church, First Congregational Ridgefield. I felt very affirmed there, and at the time really felt a draw to youth ministry. So after graduating from college, I went to Princeton Seminary and got 2 degrees there in their dual degree program. One is the MDiv, which all ministers or most ministers get, and the other is a Master of Arts and MA in youth ministry specifically. Really thinking at the time that was where I was headed. Seminary changed my track a little bit, even though I got the degrees. I had the experience of doing a unit of hospital chaplaincy of CPE as part of our ordination plans. And that experience of hospital chaplaincy changed me in a couple of ways. I met my husband in that unit, first of all. My husband, Kevin, is an Episcopal priest. We've been married since 2009. I also fell in love with chaplaincy in addition to falling in love with my husband in that season. So sort of shifted gears and got the 2 degrees, but also decided I'm going to go do chaplaincy for a while and see what that's like. I worked in a medical ICU primarily, also worked in trauma care. So it was at a level 1 trauma center in Pennsylvania. And in that system, it meant that we were called to everything under the sun, all of the deaths, codes, and traumas. And it was a 500 or so bed hospital. So it was pretty intense. We saw some interesting things. But my role, in addition to the trauma work, was to accompany families as they were struggling with their loved one being in the ICU. So crisis work, accompaniment, spiritual presence is something that's very important to me in my ministry. After doing that for easily 75 hours a week, including overnight on calls, I said, I'm not sure I want this for my life and for my family's life. So when we moved to Massachusetts, my husband got a call there for his first church up on the North Shore of Boston. I said, okay, let's go back to church life and see. I was missing the whole life of the church as much as I liked chaplaincy. So I returned to church and I started my church career up there as an associate minister full-time in Marblehead, Mass, which is about an hour north of Boston. Beautiful town, lovely space, and lovely church. I was up there for a few years. We became parents, and a year later I decided to stay at home. So I did that for 4 years. We had a second child, so we have 2 boys. Zach and Tommy. Zach is 8.5. Tommy is 5.5 right now. And once we moved back here to Connecticut, we always knew this was more home for me. Our kids' only living grandparent is my mom, and she was still in this area, and we wanted that relationship. We wanted them to be close. So we moved back here. And then I decided, okay, this is time. I need to find a call. So I took a call as an associate again in Tallinn, Connecticut. Great church, good experience, but it's an hour and 20 minutes from where we lived in Fairfield. So that was a commute. And I love to drive actually, but that was quite a lengthy commute and was a part-time position. And I knew it probably wouldn't last super long. So I made a shift to a couple of different things. I became the director of the Youth Ministry Institute at Yale Divinity School. And that's fun. I work in the continuing ed office there, and we plan we plan programs for people who work with youth in all kinds of different capacities, in churches primarily, but also in nonprofits. We have a lot of teachers involved with us. And it's great joy to really bring that old skill set back. I have a heart for youth and for youth ministry, and it's nice to use it in that specific way. It's a good spot. It's very part-time, and I'm still continuing there and have plans to, in addition to working with you all, should the candidating someday go well. let's see, that's sort of a snapshot background of my personal life, professional, but I guess I can share the way I approach ministry. It really harkens back to my time doing both youth ministry and chaplaincy. It's a ministry of accompaniment, primarily. And I am called to walk with people and to help them find where God is working in their midst. Sometimes in our day-to-day lives, it's not always what we tend to focus on. But I also have a certification in spiritual direction. And in that certification program, a lot of my work was looking at individuals' lives, but also looking at the whole life of an organization and seeing, okay, where is God speaking here? It's a great joy for me to be able to do that. In addition to accompaniment, the other piece that I would say is my ministry really hinges on empowerment. I am not coming in, I have ideas, of course, but I'm not coming into Woodmont with a set agenda or a sense of where I'm going to take you all. It is very much, okay, what is working here? What is God doing here? And what are the gifts and skills that you all have? Because you have already tremendous gifts and skills that are being used for the betterment of the community. And that was something that came out in spades as we were speaking in the interview process. It's something that I was looking for this time around in my call, and I'm delighted to have seen in you all. You all have tremendous gifts and calls already. My job as pastor is to give you more tools to be able to do the work you're already doing. I'm not a minister who tries to do it all herself. I'm an awfully hard worker, but I am much more of a delegator than I am an overfunctioner. So if there is something that you all are excited to do, I am not going to step on anybody's toes. I'm going to accompany and try and figure out where my role is in that, but also help you all do the work of the church. And it sounds like that would be a really good fit here, which is something I'm really, really thrilled to see and to hopefully experience in the near future. I'm really looking forward to meeting you all. If there's any other questions that I can answer, if you have any wonderings, I can't wait to the next time when I can actually be with you in person to be able to do that. I know this feels a little bit more forced. And, you know, at the same time, I'm very grateful for technology that lets us do this. But if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to drop me an email, give me a call, or wait until we actually are able to speak, at least screen to screen, if not person to person. Thanks so much for your time. I wish you all the best, and I'll hope to talk to you soon. Take care.